got a bit late today because my head was hurting and definitely not going to class. I was tired as hell, so I'm waiting for my ibuprofen to kick in, so I'm wasting some time. So I was gonna go to Walmart and get some fruit juice or something like that. And I was like, well, let me see if Giant and their circular has something interesting. So I saw this. It says they have V8 vegetable or blends juice or Hershey syrup. Not sure how that fits in with Hershey syrup. I'm if I'm looking for Hershey syrup, I'm definitely gonna miss it in this ad. Interesting. But now the problem is, I have no clue how to compare that with Walmart's prices. Wow, it is crazy. It is like 60 degrees out. Well, that's not good for winter. I actually remember this stupid weight belt that I was supposed to bring into the gym that I've had for 6,000 years. Actually, I've had that weight belt since I was a kid. And I figured it's about time to donate it to the Y since I'm never going to use it. And I think actually today I might reverse my schedule to make my headache help go away a little quicker. I'm going to go grocery shopping first,
Morgan told him,
and then go to the gym. Well, let's see. I did have one weird dream last night that I was back over by my buddy's house that I grew up with, and I had to carry geez, I can see shit. This fog. I had to carry a gravestone from his house over to, I guess, the cemetery. And the direction I was heading was definitely not the right direction. And then I ended up walking right past somebody's front door, and then she had her front door open and she was crying because she knew whose gravestone it was. And then I cut through somebody else's backyard, and it was really weird. I don't know why I had this dream, but just bizarro dream of the day. Oh, and then let's see, unemployment fund. So, well, maybe I mentioned this last night. I don't know. I forget what I mentioned or didn't, but I guess I should put my seatbelt on. That I emailed the one guy I used to work with over at Siemens way back in the day, and he works over at Oracle now. I said, just let me know if you think I should make any adjustments to my resume or whatnot. And he's like, no, looking at your resume, he's like, yours is far superior than any of the ones I've seen lately. So he said he'd pass it around to some people and we'll see what can happen. Hopefully something happens, because yeah, I'm starting to get a little worried now, what's going to happen if I hit, it's not even the end of my severance. It's really just, well, it is the end of my severance, not the end of my severance time. It's the end of my severance money, because we've had some extra bills come up that have sucked away that pretty badly. And, oh, damn, that little toad going across the road. Luckily, I went right over top of him. Yeah, then if I don't have money coming in, I don't know how that's going to work, because unemployment is going to screw me, because they're going to say, oh, your side businesses make so much money that you don't qualify. And I haven't had a chance to do it, but I try to tell them, oh, no, any money that goes into that company does not ever make its way over to me. It's either buying more equipment or expanding or buying other products or reloading on inventory to make the company grow bigger, so I can actually make some money off of it. So yeah, we'll see. So I'm gonna do some shopping. And another thing he did notice was, he said the very first thing it says on your resume is project management. He's like, so unless you want to be a project manager, he's like, I got to move that down a little bit. So I got to do that, even though I've already submitted my resume to 90 places, but I do need to adjust that. And yeah. And then one thing I was reading through the other night was this LHH company, the outplacement service, gave us all this information about interviewing. And it was interesting to read a lot of the questions that they ask. Can't recall most of them off the top of my head, but your strengths, your weaknesses, where do you see yourself? How do you? I'm trying to figure out. I forget, there was probably some trick questions, but I could probably go over that a little bit later. So, all right, off to the grocery store. Enough of me rambling. Did you ever want to kill a driver in a parking lot even before you see them. So I'm trying to pull into Giant, and this lady is like sitting with her car in the middle of the aisle, making it perfectly so I can't make a left or a right into any parking spot that I wanted to pull into. And then eventually, after I get out of the way, she pulls through the parking spots and then goes totally up to the front door. She had about 20 seconds to do that before I even got there. Or she could have just went a little further and done the same thing. Oh my God, people are just terrible, inconsiderate, a-hole drivers. I should start out with a better intro every day. I should probably work on that. So, it is December 11th. It is a rainy, crappy day. And let's see, how many days has it been since I got employed? How many days since September 6th?
It was 96 days ago.
Holy shit, 96 days.
You could see the moment when Valsarin relented.
That's a long time. I mean, technically, I guess it's 3 months, right? Alright, so, yeah, I gotta start looking for more jobs. I don't know what else to do here, because this is obviously one's not just gonna fall in my lap. Yeah. And trying to ramp up my strap business in the middle of winter is never good either, because straps are mainly used by consumers, you know, not business people, but like average Joe consumers, mostly in the warmer months, because that's when they're hauling shit, moving shit, doing project stuff. I mean, obviously people who are builders or whatnot will use them year round, but you know, your average Joe, I noticed that like my ATV straps and stuff like that sell well in, well, just missed that line, either the fall or the spring. So, yeah, things to think about. Did I mention I got my fruit juice? I got the everyday price for the V8 was exactly the same as the sale price from Walmart to Giant. So I figured, but the cranberry was cheaper, so I figured I might as well just get everything there. So I got 2 V8 splashes, one like pomegranate, one like mango or something. I don't know. I figured I would just try different things. And then I ended up getting 2 of their cranberry juices. So leaving the gym, I kind of, short stint, my head still kind of hurts. And, but today's my rehab day anyway, so that's usually just light exercises on different body parts. So that worked out fine for today. Talked to my buddy Jason, who I haven't seen in a while. He actually owns the local comic book store, and I asked him about trading cards, and he said, yeah, a lot of the 1980s cards are kind of useless unless you have certain players that they're looking for. Oh my God, you people are coming up to a spot where you can't turn it, you're at a standstill. You can't let somebody go in front of you? Jesus Christ. Wow, these people are dicks. Oh, that person finally, if he flashes lights at you, go. If you're coming up to a school section and you have to drive 5 miles an hour and there's 20 people in a row and somebody's trying to make a left in front of you, you can't pause for 5 seconds and let them in front of you, because it's not like you're going to go anywhere quick afterwards. Jesus. But anyway, Jason said, he's like, yeah, a lot of those cards are kind of worthless. So it's amazing that you can collect all these cards from the 80s and now they're worth nothing. It's almost like you needed to collect the cards from the 80s and get rid of them in the 2000s, because it seems the older they get, the less useful they are. I mean, I guess by now you know whether those people are hot shots or not, and there are only a couple of them were, so those are the only cards that are worth anything. Unless you just have some collector who really just wants certain cards. So talked to him, told him I was unemployed, because I tell everybody I'm unemployed because you never know where your next job's going to come from. And then I talked to this guy, I think his name is Pinto. I used to do this outdoor fitness club thing. It was F3, it was Faith, Fellowship, and Fitness. And we used to meet, well, they still do, they meet at local parks and do kind of like a boot camp kind of thing. I used to go to that, and then when they told me I had body parts that were vertebrae that were pretty jacked up, I was like, okay, I guess I should maybe stop going to those. So I did. And then I go back every once in a while. But he was in that group, and he was in there with his daughter getting physical therapy at the gym. So he's like, what's new with you? And I said, oh, I forgot to ask about how Mike is doing, because Mike is in the crew also, and he actually just got a new job. He's in marketing. And I guess Pinto was saying, he's like, hey, yeah, I think they sold him a bill of goods. They told him one thing about the job, and it's not what it really is. So he's like, he's looking to maybe find a new job. And I said, well, I'm unemployed too. And then he said he's in IT, so he'll keep an eye out if anything comes up. So hopefully, maybe people do that. I don't know, a lot of people do lip service, just saying, yeah, I'll keep an eye out for something. But, you know, they immediately forget, which I'm sure happens, and I'm sure I would do the same exact thing. Yeah, so gonna head back, and I really need to start buckling down and looking for more places to apply, I guess. So I kept on forgetting about these tomatoes that I have, and I think they're all shot. They may look okay, but I feel them and they're squishy. So these are the ones that were actually from the garden. So the only thing keeping them together was the super cold temperature, but they were just getting gross in there. So unfortunately, those all gotta go. See, now, funny thing was, the other day I was wondering where the hell all the colanders were at. That one was sitting on the table with grapes in it, and this one was in the fridge. And I was like, what the hell did Becky do with them? And now I know where they all are. All right, so I guess I'll make an omelet with some other random things we got lying around here. So one bright note this morning, I actually got my email forwarding finally to work. So the key is to call at least 3 people from the support organization, get their 3 answers, and eventually you'll get the right answer. So the first guy, this is probably like 4 people in. The first guy told me, just go to forwarding, turn that on, it'll work fine. Then when I said it doesn't work and I get this error message, the second lady said, oh, you need to make these DNS changes. That'll make it work. So I tried that. That didn't work. Talked to another lady this morning. She says, all right, turn on the email forwarding here. Wouldn't allow me to do it on either of the domains, either from or to, that I'm trying to get my email forwarding to go to. And then I called back, and then she said, okay, if that doesn't work, we need to go into Microsoft Defender on their website for their anti-spam, and you need to go to the receiving policy, receiving account, and in their policy things, enable forwarding. And then then that didn't work because, well, it didn't work because on many levels, because I didn't have my email password, and then I couldn't do it, and she never sent me instructions, but she said that's where you need to log into that account. Got the fourth guy, he said, no, you need to log in to the sending system and enable the anti-spam from doing something, but I forget what I did already, but that actually fixed it. My email forwarding is working now. So it's amazing how different people from GoDaddy all have totally different answers, and eventually you get the right one. Would have been nice if I got this guy originally right off the get-go. So if you ever have to call GoDaddy, make sure you get a hold of Ryan. He actually knows what he's talking about. Even though I don't think any of them know what they're talking about, because he's like, oh, let me go find that article. I think they just read the articles, and then eventually, I guess after reading the articles 5,000 times, they probably then kind of understand what's going on. But I'm assuming these guys are like seasoned professionals, but I'm thinking they are also just script jockeys also that eventually start to learn how to do stuff. But I guess that's how it all works anyway in the support organization. So all right, I got that working, and then I've been looking around at a couple different jobs, and a couple of them are a little, one of them was like 100% travel. I'm like, that probably would not work. I mean, I guess if I became desperate, that would work, but I did find one that might look interesting, but a lot of these don't even give you a salary range. So I don't want to apply for a job where they're like, oh, you're making 80,000. I'm like, I mean, it's a lot of money, but that's not in the ballpark of what I need to maintain my luxurious lifestyle, or having the amount of experience that I have. So still looking. There's something you don't see every day, an actual downpour. I haven't seen one of those in a couple months. Animals probably don't know what to do. A complete loser. I was watching all the Harry Potter movies. Now I'm watching the Harry Potter 20th anniversary visit thingy. So we had to take down our blow-ups. Our archway flew across the yard apparently, and now it's wrapped around a tree. So I had to go out and unplug everything since it all of a sudden was super gusty and super rainy. I think my number one job these days is make sure the dogs are comfortable. We don't want anybody freezing to death, right? You happy, glowy eye? Okay, this lovely, rainy, shitty night that destroyed a couple of my blow-ups. Can't wait to see in the morning what the blow-up looks like. Now that it's 100 yards from where it started. I guess the neighbor texted my wife's like, I think I just saw your archway fly across your front lawn. I'm like, ugh. Unfortunately, it's problem is when the ground gets wet, then the stakes barely hold, and in one good gust of wind will just make the whole thing launch. It's a giant sail. So, alright, so it's 6:20ish. I'm on my way to the local public golf course where we're going to attempt to have a JC's meeting. I don't think we've ever had a meeting here, actually. We were just trying to mix it up because we always go over to the Dutch, and it's same old. Either we're in the basement or somebody's already got the basement, or we're upstairs and it's cold outside. So it used to be nice when we used to go to the Rising Sun Inn because we would always have a private room and we'd always have a meal deal. But so I threw it out there to say, hey, we could do the Hartsville Hotel, or maybe I could go over to Lighty's, which is another golf course pub, but they're not even open tonight. They're open until 5. So I said, well, let's try the Mainland Grill, and hopefully we can get in their little back room. They have a little sun room that I don't even know how. Last I know, the place is not that packed. So I'm assuming maybe if we can get in that back room, maybe we'll be the only ones in there, and we can kind of have our meeting be pseudo-private. But we'll see. So I guess it'll be nice for a change of menu and a different place to go. And this will probably be our last meeting for the year, because then our next meeting would be like right Christmas week, and that's not going to happen. So the only other thing I was going to think about doing was try to see if maybe because it depends, next Friday night or something, see if anybody wants to go. Last year we kind of did a get together over at the Branch Creek tap room over in Souderton. Maybe we can try to see if we can get some JC members to go over there just for a night. But starting to run out of weekends to do shit on because the holidays, everything gets busy. Alright, should be at the golf course in 2 minutes. So there's the outdoor pavilion they built last year, and this is the Mainland Golf Course. This is the grill and pro shop and blah blah blah. But I think it was like last year for our winter thing, I tried to do an event there. It was ridiculously expensive, so we went elsewhere. So Yep. We'll see how this goes. 9 o'clock, just get out of that meeting. That drug out forever. Place closes at 9. We drug it out till after 9. But it was a nice location. You know, the meal was it was nice. It was obviously whatever you get, and the price was okay. So the great thing about it is that there was nobody there. So we pretty much took over the whole outside, what they call that, sunroom. So it actually might become our new spot to have meetings because it's easy. There's nobody there, so we can discuss things and not have to worry about hearing. Not that we have top secret things, but when we're talking about budgets and shit like that, we don't like to have people listening in about our fair stuff and this and that. And, you know, it's a meeting, so it is what it is. And so we'll see. And then we took a tour of their upstairs, but I recall from looking at their catering menus and renting the upstairs, like everything comes with an extra cost. So I think it might be better for us just to stick with our Wednesday meetings, and if nobody's ever there, then we could easily just have that back room, and they'd be more than happy to have us, because when we rolled in, there was only 2 people sitting at the bar, and we had 8 people that got meals, so they actually had something to do that night. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have been doing anything. So, I don't know, we'll see. Alright, so now I gotta go home, go to bed, and wake up early, go to class, and then, I don't know what I gotta do tomorrow. I think it might. Is it gonna be raining in tomorrow? I don't even know. I'll have to fix some blow-ups, I think, for sure. And I got a pack for the Florida trip on Friday morning at the crack of dawn. And yep, stuff. So, meeting was pretty much mostly talking about the fair coming up because we were switching fair or amusement rides vendor for the year. So we're going with somebody that's got more equipment, a little better, more organized rides. That our big complaint was we want rides that are everybody on and off. So high capacity, high volume rides, not, oh, let's move it around for a second, get somebody on, move it, get somebody on. These are all, everybody gets on, everybody gets off at the same time, and around you go. So quicker rides and more rides this year. But yep, just a bunch of shit talking about that. We'll be talking about that for the months to come up until May. All right, time for bed after I drive home.